dare you?
Ah, we always do dare, right here on KBS. Welcome back, everyone. It's Thursday. It's the end of the KBS week. So what better time to chill out and talk about? Time. Past, present, future. I don't know, but it's all happening live now. There we go. There we go. Yes, we are live. And welcome to our work in progress, our very high-tech little studio that we've got going on here today. We are also on this graphic you will see in a moment. We're paying homage to one of the things that's... There you go. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Come on now. You got to love the traffic cone, right? The traffic cone is the artifact. It's been located in space, as you can see here. We're trying to decode it. We're encrypting it. We're doing all sorts. But welcome back, everyone. I hope you're liking the look of things. Like I say, work in progress, but really enjoying playing about with the After Effects, as you can tell. Very, very time-consuming, though. And it's time that we're going to be talking about today, before it's time to head on over to the main Kev Baker show with my main man, Scotty Lopez. And of course, Scotty, he comes along on Thursdays, at least. I hope he comes along on Thursdays. Now, the reason I say that is because I know he's got a new computer game. He also was expecting some bourbon yesterday. He was also expecting some PPP arriving. So I really need all of you out there to send Scotty Lopez a big, huge boot up the bum. So that he's up, so that he's raring to go for the show. But it's okay, because I've got plenty to get into today. We'll have a laugh, we'll have a joke, we'll get some woo. But of course, this is our pre-show stream. So we go into the chat room, we'll see who's kicking about in there. I've lost my chat room. Hold on, where did you go? There it is. We have got Polly Nation in there. Good to see you, Polly. And if you're over on the KBS Discord server, then on Sunday, Polly, and thanks to the Wookiee, ZX, Algo as well, we have an open mic, and this week it's going to be our friend from down under. It's going to be Luna on the open mic. She's blowing me away every time she's been on KBS, so I'll be there 10 o'clock in the UK on Sunday, and that's 5 o'clock on the East Coast, 2 o'clock on the West Coast. No idea what time in the morning that's going to be down in Australia. But that's going to be really, really, really good. Looking forward to that. We've got Felicia in there as well. And you can listen to Felicia over on Algorithm's channel. That's the groovy co-host I said that he works with. Love their work. Somebody called MW coming in there. Good to see you. Lewis, Karen. Karen showed me a really freaky video today. It's, wow, it looks like one of these deep underground military bases. Maybe we'll get a chance to look at it here. But wow, Dang, it was strange. I mean, this is huge. We're talking like a massive, maybe the size of Scotland. Might be exaggerating there, but it felt that way. But we've got Ben Mac, Ronald, good to see you. EOD, good to see you, brother. And I've got no updates on that chicken mob. No, not yet. Karen enjoying the graphics. Thank you very much. Yes, rather cool. We've also got this version of the studio here. Where are we? We've got that one there. We've got me in the corner. We've got me down here. You see, we've got it all going on now. We've got it all going on. Right, so, and you got to love the traffic cone, right? I thought it was a good touch. We're going to get a 3D Wookiee in there, you know, with some cool stuff appearing on there. Work in progress. We've got Onslow, Mo Bailey, and the Wookiee was first in the chat today. We've got Carol. Good to see you back, Carol. I think I keep forgetting to send you a link, don't I, Carol? That's my bad. Definitely my bad. Greg as well. Skipper Key. I think I've got just about everyone. It'll be Queen Goddess. Can't miss you out. Marty! Can't miss Marty either. Sarah, Edward, and I think that's about it. We need to get into it because I've got to go and do the show in 45 minutes. So yes, today we're going to talk about time, and it's been on my mind a lot the past couple of days. Now, I've not been getting much sleep, so I know from when I was in the army, when you are sleep deprived, and that sounds like a whole lot worse than it is. It makes it sound like Anne's sitting there keeping me awake, turning lights on and off and dripping water on me. It's not quite that bad. It's not like random shoes coming in the middle of the night. Granted, I do have to sleep with one eye open because of that kind of nonsense, you know what I'm saying? But I know that your perception of time can kind of go out of kilter, out of whack. And it's maybe caused me to think about it. And as you get on in life, you get a little nostalgic. You start thinking about time, back in time. And when you're sitting out the back, PPP, and really nothing on your mind, and you live in the head of Kev Baker, that starts like making you think of how do you get back there? And is that still playing out somewhere right now? You know, we're on this giant rock flying through space and time. The two are totally connected. I get that. But then in all these other dimensions that we get into, how does it work there? And is time something that we've just literally constructed to make the math work? To help us locate our way through a day? Because in the end of the day, it's just a coordinate, right? It's a coordinate in space and time. So with all this thinking of time as well, After Effects, right? I have never been on a program in my life that is so time consuming, but so time dilating. You can spend 5 hours on After Effects and literally think you've maybe been on there half an hour. And again, it's that whole perception of time. And if there's 7 billion odd of us people in the world, and no two of us are experiencing time exactly the same, what does that say about time? Weird, huh? So, with time on my mind, I found some time-related stories. We're going to take a look at 7 characters that have claimed to have done a bit of time travel, a bit of temporal tampering. Do you like that? Temporal tampering. I like that. We need a temporal tamperage meter on here somewhere. I think we could fit that in somewhere on our groovy graphics, right? But maybe it's just me when you talk about time. It kind of makes your head hurt. And I think I was talking to Scotty Lopez about this. I've spoke to a few people. I think there's a certain level of thinking we can get to. And then there's some things that are just outside our reach. A bit like some of these dimensions we like to talk about all the time. But these dimensions, they can be indwelt by AI, interdimensional beasties, maybe even time travelers themselves, and we don't know how time works in these other dimensions. So for this 30 minutes or so that we're going to spend here talking about time, just open your mind. Let time take you away. And like I say, when you start to think about this, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a simple guy. Maybe I'm too simple. You know, a good laugh about that in a moment. But doesn't your head almost start to glitch? It's almost like you know you're reaching a ceiling of thinking that you're going to struggle to get beyond. There's like quantum, right? And then you've got quantum and time, and they say in the quantum realm there is no time. Yet quantum is just the really small. And we're here, and we're built up from that subatomic quantum level to what we are here today. So how can you have time at our physical macro level, but no time at the foundation level where you build it all? Bit weird, eh? Bit weird. But before we get there, you want a bit of a laugh? I'll give you a bit of a laugh, right? We had Kevin McCairn on last night, and I thought that was Scott messaging there, but it was actually Kevin. And I was watching him this morning. He was doing a little video, doing a little stream. I think it went on for something like 3 hours, knowing Kev. But I did have to have a little laugh. Do you know why I had to have a little laugh? Because, you see, my reputation sometimes precedes me. And because Kev's been coming on my show, naturally, the way things work on YouTube, then people have questions. Their minds start to work. And Kev had to field a couple of questions about yours truly today, me, the other Kev. One of which included, does Kev Baker believe in shape-shifting reptilians? Well, I must admit, folks, I nearly lost almost a full cup of coffee, almost a full bladder's worth of urine, because I tell you, there's only one other guy in the whole world I can think of whose name has become synonymous with shape-shifting reptiles, and he's a pretty famous dude. So I think that's almost like a claim to fame. But I do hope, and I explained to Kevin, I promise, my madness, my woo, my lunacy, I promise it won't tarnish his reputation in any way. It's just how we roll around here. You see, that's the perils of having an open mind. People make sweeping judgments about you. Do I believe in them? Probably. So let's get into a little bit of time, shall we? And we've got this over here. Scotty Lopez, he's going to be on tonight. Oh, please, Scotty, be on tonight. Please, please, please. Where did that go? There it is there. Right, so right, I need to get that back up. Give me 2 seconds, folks. That went horribly wrong. Do. Where did it go? That's not it. Give me a second, folks. We will get it back. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Window capture. Doing it on the fly here, folks. I'm telling you. There we go. Looky there. Look at that. See? Perfect. We'll be in a minute. We'll get that over here. Get that down like that. Bada bing, bada boom. Jamming, right? And I know I've covered myself up. Some people will say, well, that's a vast improvement, Kev. There we go. There we go. And I think if I copy that over here. There we go. Right. So we're going to get into some time. That took some time to get into time. Past, present, future. Are they all happening now? Or are they not happening at all? Is it only the now that exists? I think Jimmy was talking about this the other night as well, wasn't he? So here we have 7 stories of people who have claimed to travel in time. Now, I knew most of these, but not all of them. And no, I'm not talking about Doc. No, I'm not talking about the Doc today. It says, do you believe in time travel? I'm a skeptic myself, but if these people's stories about time travel are to be believed, then I am apparently wrong. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll have to eat my words. In all honesty, that might not be so bad, because the trade-off for being wrong in the case would be that time travel is real. And that would be pretty rad if it was true. And I keep my mind open to it. I have no idea, really the physics of how you would go about it. Seems a bit... Other timelines, maybe. Maybe. Other versions, many worlds. Damn, there's so much you can get into here. Check this message. This better be a good message. I'm in the middle of a show. Spooky Andy. Spooky Andy, he loves to get me when I'm in the middle of something here. I'll time for that in a moment, Andy, since we're talking about time. Let me get the first one out of the way. So it says here, the Moberly-Jourdain incident. Now, this is one I had heard of before, but if you haven't, this is a bit of a head scratcher. So it's in 1901, two English women, Anne Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain, took a vacation to France, and while they were there, they visited the Palace of Versailles because, you know, that's what one does when one visits France. Well, you don't be going there probably in the next little while. I'm just saying it might take you a while to get home. Oh, not good. Oh, ho, ho. Not so good. And while they were at Versailles, I'm not going to go into my French accent, I promise, okay? They visited what is known as Petit Trianon, and that's a little chateau on the palace grounds of Louis the 16th, I think, and they gave that to Marie Antoinette. Now, is that our Marie Antoinette that's in the chat room? That's a weird case of time travel if it is, right? And a pretty famous watcher, even from beyond the grave, you get me? As a private space for her to hang out and do whatever it was that a teenaged queen did when she was relaxing back then. Maybe she time travelled. But while they were there, they claimed, they saw some odd occurrences. Now, they said they spotted people wearing anachronistic clothing, heard mysterious voices, and saw buildings and other structures that were no longer present, and indeed hadn't existed since the late 1700s. And finally, they said that they caught sight of Marie Antoinette herself, drawing in a sketchbook. Now, they claimed to have fallen into a time slip and briefly transported back more than 100 years before being jolted back to the present by a tour guide. Now, did they really travel back in time? Probably not. Various explanations include everything from a folie à deux, basically a joint delusion. That's pretty weird, even if we're not talking about time travel. A joint delusion. To a simple misinterpretation of what they actually saw. For what it's worth, in 1911, roughly 10 years after what they said they had experienced occurred, the two women published a book about the whole things under the names Elizabeth Morrison and Frances Lamont, simply called An Adventure. Now, these days it's available as The Ghosts of Trianon. Check it out if you like. Now, I would say that's like a very elaborate kind of... there's two ways of looking at that, right? You could say they were like spending a year setting up the backstory for this book that they always intended to write and come out with, make a bit of coin, all good. Or literally, they really did experience a time slip. Now, me being the woo kind of guy that I am, give me 2 seconds, folks, 2 secs. And just come in. Just come in. I don't want to be getting a shoe in the head. There we go. I'm back. There we go. So yeah, so there's a couple of ways you look at this. Now, early 1900s, do I think these people were LARPing their asses off, setting up an elaborate hoax? I don't. I really don't. And I think time slips exist, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think something did happen to these people. Can I explain it? Can I heck? I could do it in a French accent, but nobody wants to hear that. Now, number 2, one of my favourites. And I need to go away again for a minute. I swear. I swear, folks, you don't know what I've got to put up with here. I swear, this feels like I'm time traveling today. I'm telling you, folks, I'm all over the place here. I think Anne is purposely trying to throw a spanner into my works. See when she stands over your shoulder like that. There's some people can stand over your shoulder; it's not a problem. And then there's Anne. I'm just gonna. She's out. I think we're good to go now. I think we're good to go, folks. I think we're good to go. You know, probably be deja vu or something. This little replay in a moment. What's deja vu all about? So the mystery of John Titor and Spooky Andy. I've messaged you back, man. I've messaged you back. Hit me up, dude. So, did any of you you've heard of John Titor, right? Surely everyone's heard of John Titor. If you're into a bit of woo, if you're into a bit of time travel, you've listened to Coast to Coast over the years as well. John Titor, he's like, he's the leading one, right? He's got to be the most famous time traveler, I think, apart from Doctor Who, maybe. But I don't think Doctor Who ever claimed to be real, or there was a real Doctor Who. What am I talking about? So it says John Titor is perhaps the most famous person who claims he's time travelled. Trouble is, no one has heard from him for almost 17 years. Also, he claimed he came from the future. Now that just adds to the whole intrigue for me. It kind of adds to the whole lore of it. You know, if you're a time traveller, you're not going to stay in the one place and talk about it constantly until the end of your life, which I'm sure you would want to go back to in the future. I think it just keeps the story going, a bit more credibility going on here. The story is long and involved, but the short version is this. In a thread begun in the fall of 2000, a far simpler time, eh? Damn. I don't know, you think back, it's only 20 years ago. The fact I'm even saying only 20 years, that shows I'm starting to get decrepit and old. But what a lot's happened since then. And I think we can all agree, the year 2000, pretty simpler time. Pretty simpler. So, and it was all about time paradoxes on the online forum, the Time Travel Institute, now known as Curious Cosmos. And a user responded to a comment about how a time machine could theoretically be built with the following message. It says, wow, Paul is right on the money. I was just about to give up hope on anyone knowing who Tipler or Kerr was on this world line. It says, by the way, number 2 is the correct answer. And the basics for the time travel start at CERN in about a year and end in 2034 with the first time machine built by General Electric. Too bad we can't post pictures, or I'd show it to you. Now, this was the year 2000, and this cat was talking about CERN. Now, CERN really CERN's been there forever. I get that, in various guises. The Centre for European Research, Nuclear. You know, they used to model blasts in there. They've done various things. They played a part in the online web. But it's only like the past 10 years or so that it really started to get kind of super popular when they turned it into the Large Hadron Collider and we were getting ready to go looking for that God particle, right? But yeah, way back in the year 2000, old Titor was on it. He was on it. Now, did he just like get lucky? Because there's a lot of people talk about CERN now in the same conversation as time travel, Mandela effects, weirdness, glitches in the Matrix, Stargates. Me, probably responsible for about 70% of those theories getting out there. Not single-handedly. Not all of them. So the implication, of course, was that the user who was going by the name time travel underscore 0, came from a point in the future during which such a machine had already been invented. That has to be a given, right? I mean, somebody arrives from the future. They're not going to be coming from a time just like the year before they invented the time machine, are they? That's going to be a weird one. So over the course of many messages, spanning from that first thread all the way through the early spring of 2001, the user, who became known as John Titor, told his story. He said it had been sent back to 1975 in order to bring an IBM 5100 computer to his own time. He was just stopping in 2000 for a brief rest on the way back home, and I'm smiling because that's just so cool. I'm just going to stop off in the year 2000. Usually you stop off somewhere, Paris, Rome, and you're going on a bit of a global journey. Somewhere cool, but no, this is when you stop off. I like that. I do like that. So, says the computer, he said, was needed to debug various legacy computer programs in 2036 in order to combat a known problem similar to Y2K called the year 2038 problem. Now, John didn't refer to it as such, but he said that Unix was going to have an issue in 2038, which is what we thought was going to happen back when the calendar ticked over from 1999 to 2000. I do remember that. I was working security that night as well up in Aberdeen. And I do remember some people, they were kind of, oh, Y2K, what's going to happen? Nothing happened. Nothing happened. A damn squib. You see how these things come and go, folks, these dates. Opinions are divided on whether John Titor was real. Some folks think he was the only real example of time travel we've ever seen, while others think it's one of the most enduring hoaxes of what we've ever seen. I fall on the side of a hoax, but that's just me. I can fall on either side. I like to keep my mind open on it. I've heard his lawyer, the family, they kind of stay quite secret, quite naturally, they don't want the grief. And I've heard the lawyer speaking for them a couple of times because John Titor, the young John Titor, not the one that goes on to be the time traveller in this story, he was growing up at the time when all this was going on. You hear me? So that's a bit weird. Bit weird story out there. Imagine growing up and there's a story out there that you're a time traveller. Somebody's claiming to be you from the future, and that's just super weird. Super, super weird. So, Project Pegasus and the chrono-knots. Now, I have definitely covered this one. In 2011, Andrew DiBashago and William Stillings stepped forward claiming that they were former chrono-knots who had worked with an alleged DARPA project called Project Pegasus. Project Pegasus, they said, had been developed in the 1970s, and in the 80s, they were taking a Mars training class at a community college in California. Now, the college presumably functioned as a cover for the alleged program, as they do. When they were picked to go to Mars, the mode of transport, teleportation. It's a jump room, remember? It gets better. Bashago and Stillings also said that the then 19-year-old Barack Obama, who they claimed was going by the name Barry Soetoro at the time, was also one of the students chosen to go to Mars. Now, they said the teleportation occurred inside something called a jump room. It says the White House has denied that Obama has ever been to Mars, and that in itself, the fact that you even have to come out and deny that, isn't that a little weird? Doth he protest too much? I don't know. If only you count watching Marvin the Marshal. Tommy Vietor, then the spokesman for the National Security Council, told Wired's Danger Room in 2012. I've had Andy on the show a couple of times. Where do I lie on it? I think at the very heart of that story, there is truth. I also think that some of it is maybe embellished. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I don't know if I'm too sure about the whole Obama and the jump room thing and the Mars thing, because that came later on. I don't know. I like to think that the whole Andrew Bashago story's more true than false. I keep an open mind. I do. Always need to be wary when you have anyone who has a big story, a big experience, and then maybe 4, 5, 6 months down the line, all of a sudden they remember something new. All of a sudden there's a new chapter, a new episode. I don't know, usually you would get all those things out in a oneer, right? If you're getting it all out, you're whistle blowing, you could be taking you out any day. So that's why I'm a bit hesitant now on that one. You see, back in the day, caught in the headlights, I've got a time traveller on my show. But, I don't know. So this one here, I hadn't heard of this one. Victor Goddard's airfield time slip. Says, like Anne Moberly and Moberly-Jourdain, senior Royal Air Force. He was in the Air Force, Kev. Of course they're a farce. The squaddies, we didn't really take too well to the Air Force. They were all pampered. The Navy, also pampered. Not real men like us soldiers. So anyway, Royal Air Force Commander Sir Robert Victor Goddard, widely known as Victor Goddard. What the heck? Is that not like stating the obvious? Okay, I get like they've dropped the Sir Robert, but okay. In 1935, Goddard flew over what had been the RAF station Drem in Scotland on his way from Edinburgh to Andover, England. Now, the Drem station was no longer in use. After demobilisation efforts following the First World War, it had mostly been left to its own devices. And indeed, that's what Goddard said he saw when he flew over it. A largely abandoned airfield. Now, on his return trip, though, things got weird. He followed the same route that he had taken, or that he had on the way there. But during the flight, he got waylaid by a storm. As he struggled to regain control of his plane, however, he spotted the Drem airfield through a break in the clouds. And when he got closer to it, the bad weather suddenly dissipated. But the airfield, no longer abandoned. No. It was busy, with several planes on the runway and mechanics scurrying about. Within seconds, though, the storm reappeared, and Goddard had to fight to keep his plane aloft again. Now, he made it home just fine and went on to live another 50 years, but the incident stuck with him. Indeed, in 1975, he wrote a book called Flight Towards Reality, which included discussions of the whole thing. Here's the really weird bit. In 1939, the Drem airfield was brought back to life. Did Goddard see a peek into the airfield's future via a time slip back in 1935? Who knows? But interesting, you've got the storm. You know, myself and Scott, we freak out over mist and lightning, the electrical storms and things like that. That static you sometimes feel in the air, charged kind of energy. These things are about when portals and things open, folks. Just saying. We're talking about portals with Lon Strickler the other night as well. Loved that show. That was awesome. But yeah, remember the hairy hand story as well? It was it was foggy. It was that kind of staticky way. A parting in the fog, and whoa, into another realm. What went on there then? I don't know. Is it the fog that causes it? I don't think so. I think that's a byproduct of whatever's going on. Crazy. Number 5, Space Barbie. Not Space Force, Space Barbie. So I'll be honest, I'm not totally sure what to do with this one, but I'll present it to you here. And then you can decide for yourself what you think about it. So it says Valeria Lukyanova has made a name for herself as a human Barbie doll, who also has a kind of scary opinions about things. But a 2012 short documentary for Vice's My Life Online series also posits that she believes that she's a time traveling space alien whose purpose on Earth is to aid us in moving from the role of the human consumer to the role of the human demigod. And that makes me think of one of the better kind of memes I've seen in recent times. I need to find it here. Is that the right one? Is it? But I've lost it. There it is there. When you've completed all of Earth's lessons, I have to come back to help humanity evolve before they destroy the entire planet. Look at that dude. Look how concentrated. That's like a little Yoda there. That dude is pissed. That is an old soul right there thinking, let me at him. Yeah, there you go. That made me think of that. So it says here, what I can't figure out is whether this whole time traveling space alien thing is like a piece of performance art created specifically for this Vice documentary, or whether it's what she really thinks. I don't believe she's referenced it in many, or maybe even any, other interviews that she's given. And the news items that I've found disgusting, not disgusting, there's nothing disgusting about you, Luke Yanova, and the time travel specifically all point back to this video. I don't like that one. I'm moving on. That's a crap one now. This dude's a good one, isn't it? Now that picture there, you're bound to have seen this picture before, right? I think. Where is it? There it is there. Yeah. You know, is it just me, but this dude here beside him, like just up from him, Men in Black, he looks like the Observer, one of the Observer dudes out the Fringe, right? I don't know. But looks like he's got a camera there, like a pretty fancy one, at a time when there's not cameras. So in the early 2010s, a photograph, 20-teens, will we call them? A photograph depicting the 1941 reopening of the South Fork Bridge in Goldbridge, British Columbia in Canada, went viral for seemingly depicting a man that looked just a bit too modern to have been photographed in 1941. He looks, in fact, like a time-travelling hipster. Graphic t-shirt, textured sweater, sunglasses, the works. Now, the photo hadn't been manipulated, and the original can be seen here, so what the heck's going on? Definitely looks a bit out of character for the early 40s, right? It says, well, Snopes has plenty... Oh, Snopes. Oh, well. It must be true, then. There's plenty of reasonable explanation for the man's appearance. This should be good. Each item he's wearing, for example, could have easily been acquired in 1941. Alright. Others have also backed up those facts, but the bottom line is that it's never been definitively debunked. So the idea that this photograph could depict a man from our time who travelled back to the 1941 persists. What do you think? Oh, I think it's case open. Definitely case open, I think. Down here. Now, wish Joe Joseph was here for this one. The chronovisor. Oh. Now, many people think it was Andy Bashago who made the chronovisor famous. Now, he might have made it a bit more famous. He might have breathed new life into an older idea, but nothing new about the chronovisor, my friends. Now, do I think they've got a chronovisor? I'm open-minded to that. I absolutely know that they can look into the future with AI, though. So, could you call AI a chronovisor? Is it the same thing? You know, different way it works? I don't know. But according to at least 2 books, Catholic priest Father Francois Brunet's 2002 book, Le Nouveau Mystère, Du Vatican. In English, the Vatican's New Mystery. I think I might have got that. And Peter Crassa's 2000 book, Father Ernetti's Chronovisor, The Creation and the Disappearance of the World's First Time Machine. Father Pellegrino Ernetti, who was a Catholic priest like Brune, invented a machine called a chronovisor that allowed him to view the past. Ernetti was real. However, the existence of the machine, or even whether he actually claimed to have invented it, have never been proven. Don't let that get in the way. Maybe some time cop went back in time to try and remove evidence of it. Maybe they're doing that. Maybe. Do you think there's time cops out there? That's really weird if there is. Alas, he died in 1994. Or did he travel to another time? So we can't ask him either. I mean, if we were ever able to find his chronovisor, maybe we could, but at that point, wouldn't we already have the information we need? I'm extremely sceptical of this story. I would never have guessed. But both Brune's or Brune's and Crassa's books swear up, down, left, right that it's true. So you'll be the judge. Kev Baker's show. We're open-minded here. We'll at least leave it in the... Can we leave it on the open cases file? I think so. Although I am fairly certain that these accounts and stories are either misinterpreted information or straight-up falsehoods. They're still entertaining to read about, and after all, if you had access to a time machine, wouldn't you at least want to take it for a spin? Here's hoping that one day science takes the idea from theory to reality. It's a big old universe out there, and I would imagine when you're talking about this, you have to factor in many worlds, many, not universe, multiverse. And that's the thing. And that's what Andy, Spooky Andy, is going to be coming onto the show to talk about in the near future. I've got Epic Journeyman. He's going to be coming onto the show as well to talk about that. We've talked about that crazy Mandela thing often enough. Do they all tie together? I think you could put the broad umbrella over all the weirdness, time travel, Mandela effects, glitches in the Matrix, the many worlds, the multiverse. Who knows? Many versions of you and me. Why not? Why not? And does that maybe account? Does that account for the old Mandelas? Do we start on one timeline? It's like roulette. Are we aware of when we cross over onto a new one? Do we? Is it all in our minds? Everything's in our mind in the end of the day. Everything in this physical world is the product of your quantum computer between your ears. I mean, we all know that, right? The illusory nature of 3D physical reality. Really, you go down that quantum level again, it's all strings, it's all vibrations. It's all maybes, probabilities, possibilities. All in a quantum soup of nothing. I don't know, I'm just saying. And even an atom, right? Isn't it 99.9% fresh air, space? So that means everything physical in the universe is actually only, it's actually 99% nothing. Weirdness. And if it's a simulation, then I'm sure if we manage to crack that bit of code, why can't you travel? And people will say, remote viewing, is that a form of time travel? I would imagine if you've got a skilled remote viewer and they can view things in the past or in the future, aside from physically going there, I don't know how much better people would want, you know? Mental time travel, astral time travel, physical time travel, no time travel. Time. Oh, it makes the head hurt. It really does, but it's one of my favourite topics. Hope you've enjoyed this, because it's almost time, see? For me to go over to the Kev Baker show. I almost missed the Kev Baker show starting. Scott Lopez is not checked in yet. Oh my lordy. But it's alright. I've got some stuff for us to go over, and I'll open up the phones. We'll have a bit of a blast. But I need to get going now, folks. I've only got like 9 minutes to get out of here. Find something to talk about. I've got plenty to talk about. There's always plenty to talk about. And always plenty of time to talk about it. So thank you all for being here today. It's been a blast. We need to change that. It's not starting anymore. It's hang on. It's... Oh, are they both stream starting? Surely not. There we go. Stream ending. You see, my head is glitching. So, folks, join me in about 5 minutes over on tfrlive.com or Disco. I'll be getting into another day in Clown World, I think. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to subscribe. Remember to like. Remember any of the rumours you hear about me out there. Some of them are definitely founded, but most aren't. And until next time, keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo.